So yes, good morning. It is that time of the week again, another fitness fragrance review, and I have still got four more fragrances that are clone fragrances that I do need to do a review on. And the one we're going to do today is Tom Ford Noir Extreme Clone. It is the Essence Vault 213, yet another memorable name by the Essence Vault. Never tried Tom Ford Noir. I always felt that this was the sort of fragrance where if I'm looking at Tom Ford Noir, I'm thinking of Tom Ford Noir Extreme, that amazing sort of date night fragrance that everyone knows, and that has also been cloned many times. But this one has obviously lasted the test of time as well. That's why there are still many clones of Tom Ford Noir. But it's not something that I expected. I've read a few things about this before, and there was just not really a fragrance that particularly interested me. It feels like transition seasons, maybe this was best, but it didn't have that statement feel about it when I looked at the notes. And obviously we'll go into the notes in a minute with this one. But if you haven't seen a fitness strength reviews before, essentially I'm going to do a morning workout. So I'm going to go for a run, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while wearing this one. And we'll rank it on 5 categories today. So we'll look at its price, we'll look at its versatility, so how much you can use it in different situations. We'll talk about projection, so how much I noticed it during my run, how much it fills up a room, so someone walked in, would they notice it? We'll look at compliment factor, do I think people are saying nice things about it if you're wearing it? And also its longevity, where I'll spray miles before I go to the gym, obviously do my workout, a few hours ago by after I've had my shower, we'll see if we can still smell it. But yeah, let's get into the note of what actually is in the Essence Vault 213, the Tom Ford Noir clone. Annoyingly, the Essence Vault didn't actually really give a note breakdown for this. It gave 5 notes in particular. So it talked about iris, violet, a bit of black pepper in there, and then you've got benzoin and amber. So if we go through that, I tried to compare it to Tom Ford Noir, obviously the notes on Fragrantica, and it is really this powdery soapiness that you're getting, and that's got to be that iris. Iris kind of gives a floral lipsticky type vibe to me. It's very prominent in most of Prada's very Prada L'Homme. This one actually has been compared, or the original Tom Ford Noir has been compared to Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense, which is a little bit darker, a bit more mysterious. And you do get that from this. And I think that's probably the amber that's playing a part here, alongside the black pepper, which gives that slight more spicy, masculine edge to it. But the main thing you really get from this fragrance, let's give it another spray. It's like a slightly dark soap, a nice dark soap. And yeah, not too heavy, not too aggressive, nothing too sweet from this. So the amber in this sometimes gives like a vanillic caramel vibe. Certainly not getting that at all. This is much more about those powdery elements. And yeah, so far, initial impressions, I do like it a lot. But what we're going to do, we're going to head out from a run and we're going to do the first 2 categories. We'll look at the price slash value for money and also its versatility and how much you can use it in different situations. So yeah, let's get my stretching done and I'll see you out there. Weather's looking good today. Oh, what a gorgeous morning it is today. There's barely any cloud in the sky, there's no breeze, and the best bit is I'm reviewing the Essence Vault 213, the clone of Tom Ford Noir. So, price slash value for money. Now, you're going to be paying £25 for this for 100ml. For any of the clones on their websites, if you just bought 100ml in isolation, it's £25. Now, I don't think you can knock any fragrance that's smells very similar to a fragrance that costs over £100. Now, I've never smelt the original, but just judging by the reviews, people say this is pretty much identical. So that's the whole point of clones ultimately, isn't it? You want to save money to smell like an expensive fragrance, and that's what this does. So in terms of price, that's a big tick. The other thing which I really like with this one, and the first word that came to my mind when I smelled this, was luxury. It smells like a luxury soap. It's almost like if you've gone on one of those spa holidays where you get like the white dressing gowns, white sandals, white towels, and you get those little soaps in sachets, like little travel soaps. It just smells like a really nice soap. And I think the one thing you always want with fragrances is to smell clean. That's the number one thing you want. Before all the extra bits, the wow factor, the scent memories, you want them to make you smell clean and approachable to everyone else. It definitely does that. So that's all the stuff on the good side. But I do have this evil person sitting on the other shoulder as well. Now, this is probably your own personal opinion, personal preference. But part of me does think, does it wow me? Does it feel like it needs something else to complement this? And I'd say yes, it does. Paco Rabanne Pour Homme was the fragrance that got me into perfumes, collecting them and buying more. And that's a soapy fragrance. That is also a really nice soapy fragrance. But it's got this green tinge to it, a bit of oat moss that gives it that fougere barbershop vibe, which always drew me back to it. I feel like this could almost have like a nutty note in it, or a fruity note, or just something else, just to give it that little bit extra uniqueness, a little bit of something that makes you think, that's the one I really want to get. If I want a soapy fragrance, that's the one I want. Because at the moment, it just smells like a luxury clean soap. And while that's absolutely fine, obviously we'll talk about versatility later, while that gives it a lot of uses, there's loads of fragrances out there that do that. And I just wanted this one to give me something else to take it to the next level that makes me almost think I don't even just want a clone of this. I want the original Tom Ford as well, the original Tom Ford Noir, and this one almost just as a top up. I just feel like it needed something else for that price range, because even when you think of other ones in that sort of, price element, I always think of Bentley for Men Absolute. It's a lovely woody fragrance. Bentley for Men Intense, the booziness is that real selling point. For me, this just needed that extra thing to give it that selling point, to make me want to buy it over everything else. But it still smells really good, and that's just my own personal preference. So I'm not going to mark it down too much at all for that. I'm just going to say 8.5 out of 10. This is very good, but to make it iconic and great, I just think it could have done something a little bit more. But 8.5, can't fault that at all. On to versatility. So on to versatility then for the Essence Vault 213. How much can you dress this one down? Different ages, different occasions, different seasons, all those things. Well, if I had to stereotypically put this on someone, I would probably say anyone 25 to 40 mainly, who dresses quite smart casually a lot of the time, settled with the family, likes the odd spa holiday, friendly, approachable though, not flashy, not life and soul of the party, just wants to leave a good impression with everyone they cross. Now, anyone can pull this off ultimately. There's nothing too divisive in this at all. And even though it's marketed for men, I think this is completely unisex. Iris is very popular in women's fragrances, as are notes like benzoin. I would say the black pepper maybe just gives it that slight masculine edge. But if you're a woman, don't feel like you can't rock this one. It is absolutely fine. If you like clean, soapy smells, this is great. But I do think a younger person, sort of under 21, may not appreciate this as much. Notes like ambroxan, vanilla, caramel, cinnamon, you tend to associate them more in those juvenile types, so it's a little bit more playful night out, date night sense. This one isn't that. This is more for somebody who's more settled down. Perfect for job interviews. It's not too heavy, and we'll talk about projection later, but it's not too heavy where I don't think I could wear it on a warm day, not a really hot summer's day, because I think powdery can be a little bit nauseating. But if you tone your sprays down, you can pretty much wear this anywhere casually. You can certainly dress it up because again it has that luxurious vibe, but there's nothing too serious about this. There's no smoky edges to it, leather, anything like that where you think, I can only wear that for those more formal occasions. Versatility is going to be a strong point here, and for that reason I can't think of many times I wouldn't want to wear it. Probably not in the gym or if I'm getting really hot, but other than that, daytime I think it's great. Nighttime on a warm summer's evening if you're on holiday is fine as well. This could be a vacation scent, but it could ultimately be a signature scent, and for that reason I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's perfect for this. I'm surprised it's just marketed for men. I think this is completely unisex, and I think its versatility is also probably why it's so popular and why there is a clone of Tom Ford Noir. So yeah, 10 out of 10. It's done well. It must be the weather that's putting me in a good mood, but it feels perfect for a morning like today. So yeah, when we get back, we'll talk about projection and how much I'm noticing it on my run. The workout done, it is now time to spray my room to test for projection. So if you haven't seen this before, essentially I'm going to do about 10 sprays. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And essentially I want to see how much this fragrance fills the room. So if someone walked in, whether you're in an office and a colleague walked in, or if you're at home, friend, family member, would they notice that you're wearing a fragrance? Has it filled the room essentially? Also going to test for projection, for longevity I should say later. So essentially be about 3 hours time when I leave the gym. It's about 10 past 9 now. Be about 10 past 12 by the time I leave the gym. Just want to see how much I can still notice that fragrance. So we won't be applying it again in the meantime. But what we're going to do, we're going to let this fragrance sit in the room, head downstairs, have a cup of tea, and yeah, we'll talk about how much I noticed the Essence Vault 213 during my run. So I've had my green tea already, mum's in the kitchen, so I've been kicked out. But let's talk about projection during my run. How much did I notice the Essence Vault 213 for Tom Ford Noir cologne? Well, to be honest, not at all running. Actually running in motion, nothing. But I stopped about 3 or 4 times. One to go to the toilet, one there's this kitchen gate on my run, and also just at the end there. And actually when I went upstairs before I sprayed the fragrance, those 4 occasions, I smelt it. So it's one of those, I think, that you almost have to be stationary, static, maybe sitting at a desk for this one to really be noticed. Again, there's nothing too heavy in this fragrance. I think if there was a jasmine or yang yang or a stronger floral, I wouldn't want that because it would take away what is a really nice smell. But it would add to that extra performance. As I said, I feel like it needs something else elevated to the next level, but I don't want it to be florals. I'd like it to be something fruity. But those aren't particularly strong themselves. They're quite strong in the opening. They do wear off. So it's not a criticism of it. I don't want this to be a sort of sweet winter scent. Too powdery can come a little bit too much, a bit nauseating, a bit headache inducing. So it's fine, but it's one of those that's certainly not suited to a workout, which I don't think it really is anyway, even though it's not unpleasant by any stretch. But what we're going to do, we're going to head upstairs. I'm not expecting this to fill a room, but you never know, and then we can give a score on projection. Okay, then, so in we go. Let's see if we can smell anything. I'm not expecting much. Yeah, and I'm not getting much at all. I'm talking 15 to 20% here. It's not a strong room filler. I don't think this is a room filling fragrance. If you want something that's going to really project, really kick off, this isn't the one for you. But again, up close on your clothing, I think this one is absolutely fine. It's going to be one that's going to project, probably if I'm standing this far away from you, so almost the length of my arm distance away, that sort of scent, your personal space essentially. I think people will notice it. But if you're on the move, you're here, there and everywhere, this isn't going to be one of those ones. I don't think you're going to be noticed from room to room, essentially, just from my experience of this clone. I think you'd want the original Tom Ford Noir, which probably does have a bit of extra performance on it to do that. But it smells good on my hand at the minute. We're now going to go on to compliment factor. So I haven't given a score. I haven't given a score for projection because I've just been so negative about it. 5 out of 10. It was okay during my run. Again, if I didn't notice it at all on the stopping, I probably would have given it a 2 just because it hasn't filled a room. You're not going to notice this in an hour's time. But as we said, now we are going to go on to compliment factor as I walk to the gym. So yeah, do I think the Essence Vault 213 can get good comments? Okay, so moving on to compliment factor then for the Essence Vault 213. Do I think this one is a compliment getting fragrance? I definitely do. I think it's one again that, this is how I would describe it. If someone was wearing this, how would I compliment, or how would I show that I like it? They'd be the person that, let's say you're on a coach trip to somewhere, like those woods travel coaches. They're the person I'd want to sit next to. They're the person, if you're in the office, you'd want to be on the desk next to them. It's that type of scent. It's not one that I particularly think, I'm going to really mention it if they're wearing it on like a dress-up occasion, because I don't think it's that dressy type of scent. I think it's much better for your everyday signature scent, but you can certainly dress it up, dress it down. As we said earlier on, it's got plenty of versatility about it, and that's going to lend itself to being able to be used in more situations. I definitely think it's more of a daytime scent, again, like a day like today, where it's quite a cool breeze. I think it was about 4 Celsius this morning, but it's, nice and still. There's nothing, it just feels like a nice day, a nice spring day. That's where this is going to really thrive. And again, if you're meeting up with friends for lunch or anything like that, job interview, driving lesson, anything like that, I think it's perfect. And again, as long as someone's in your scent bubble, I think they're going to say nice things, or even if they don't, they might subtly just show with the way they are, their demeanour around you, just sitting a bit close to you, they'll show that they like it. But I don't think you're going to get any of those wow comments. It's not a statement thing. Again, as we touched upon earlier, I think it's just missing something to take it to that next level, where someone might go from, I notice it, but I'm not going to say anything to go. I'm going to have to mention what is that so I can buy it myself. So in terms of a score, I'm going to go, I think it's certainly above average. I'll go 8 out of 10, but of course if we do get any at the gym today, we will bump it up to that 10. Okay, so it is about 10 past 12. I've just had my shower. Time to smell my arm and see if we can still smell the Essence Vault 213, the clone Tom Ford Noir. I'll be honest, not very much. It's probably a little bit like we said with projection earlier. It's about 15-20%. I wouldn't be able to necessarily, even if I really knew this scent DNA and I had it for years, I wouldn't necessarily be able to say, oh, that's definitely what you've got on. It's very, very faint. And It's a shame actually, because with this one, it's such an easy, nice smell, and again, perfect for coming out the shower, that soapy vibe, that I wouldn't mind it being on my skin all day. You know, sometimes you get some fragrances that are amazing on longevity, but you don't really want it to be great on longevity because it's just too strong, it's too cloying, and you're almost trying to wash it off. I don't think you're going to have that with this. This to me feels like one of those clones where you're going to kind of buy it to supplement the original fragrance. It doesn't feel like one that could do all the legwork on its own. Certainly not on a day where you're getting a bit hot and sweaty, a bit stressed, and you know, maybe you're doing a workout, maybe you are going to the gym on your lunch break or anything like that. It feels like it needs something a bit stronger to support this one. And to be fair, I think the Essence will do an intense version of this one as well, which may give that extra bit of bite, extra bit of kick, and it does feel like it needs that, because this is a scent DNA and a smell that, you know, I'd happily have as a quite strong one. I'd happily have this one that could last 2-3 days because it's very mass pleasing, very pleasant, and nothing too divisive. So a bit disappointed with that. It's definitely about 10 to 15%. I don't think I'd be spending it later, and nobody in your scent bubble would notice it now. Gonna give it 3 out of 10. Yeah, underwhelming. And I feel like, you know, when I initially spray this, the initial blast on this is actually quite strong, so I'm a little bit disappointed actually how much it has faded. Sometimes these almost change or get brought back to life after a shower, but on this occasion it hasn't done that. But what we'll do, we'll head back, we'll count up all the scores, and yeah, I'll give my overall thoughts. Back at last. It is 1:32 p.m. I still do that. I still look at the clock, then look at my watch for the time. But anyway, how many steps have I done? 42,295 steps, all while wearing today the Essence Vault 213, the Tom Ford Noir clone. So what was the total score based on the 5 categories we did? To be honest, I thought it was going to get a little bit higher than this today. It's got a little bit lower than I expected. 34.5 out of 50. So it's not a bad score by any stretch. And really where it's been marked down is kind of more in that projection and longevity at the end in particular. Yeah, they only got 8 marks combined for those 2 rounds. And I'll be honest with you, when I do these workouts, obviously when you see me when I first say yes, good morning, it's like 20 to 7. It's 1:30 now, so it's a long time. And sometimes, obviously, I'm changing clothes with running and also going to the gym, having a shower, doing other things, you know, just changing location essentially. But one thing that always stays with me is the fragrance. And today it didn't feel like it was ever really with me. It kind of, I almost forgot about it actually. What you would have seen is I didn't film myself spend my hand on the treadmill because I just forgot I was doing a review today. Didn't stay with me, didn't make me want to reach out for it. And that's why I found it a bit underwhelming. And that's not because of the scent, because the scent still smells absolutely amazing to me. I love that clean, soapy smell. And, you know, I'm more than happy to wear this fragrance around other people as well. I just wanted a bit more. I just wanted a bit more oomph to it that really could have brought this out. And I'm sure that's what that Tom Ford Noir original fragrance would have. It would have that bit more personality, a bit more substance about it, which is why it's probably very popular and still around. But look, if you're going to get this, don't be disappointed with the scent. I think the scent, apparently, again, according to reviews, smells very much like the original, but I think it's going to play a supporting role. I'd still think I'd want that fragrance. If I really love that DNA, I'd want this to just support it because it hasn't got enough bite about it to really, yeah, to get it in isolation. Again, you can get some clones that I'd never buy the original again. For me, if I really like this one, I do like it a lot, I'd probably get the original as well. But the other thing, obviously, I touched upon earlier, I just think it needed something else. And again, I'm not knocking the original here because it's a fantastic scent. But I do think this could go to another level if you added a different note, a fruity note. I don't know, something else just to bring it out and make it better than some of the other competition. Because for me, I think Prada's just as good as this one in terms of a soapy scent. But the iris in this, very nice, very delicious. And yeah, it's not a bad fragrance. In terms of the scent, it's not bad. I just want a little bit more myself personally. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this one today. I am going to head out in a minute while I wait for my brother to get back from work and review. And you would have seen it on one of my shorts not too long ago. This, well, look how badly that's stuck by that. It's stuck terribly, isn't it? Keep the Fun Flowing by Splash Fragrances. Looks a little bit like a Lush body spray. Sounds a little bit like Let the Good Times Roll. So yeah, looking forward to doing a review on that one. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. But thanks for watching today. I'll catch you later.